Over the past 11 years, the WPH has held 66 tour stops from sea to shining sea. All of them have been played indoors. Until now. Clark Park in Tucson, Arizona is the place, and the Race for 8 Tour Stop number 3 is the occasion for handball's best to take their skills outside for the first 3-wall tour stop to count in the WPH rankings. David Fink, Shorty Ruiz, Luis Cordova, Leo Canales, Adam Bernhardt, and more will trade wood for concrete to see whose skills translates best to the great outdoors. The Holiday Icebreaker starts right now.
1, 2, 3, go!
Welcome back to Tucson, Arizona. It's Luis Cordova and his rival Abraham Montijo. Luis coming in from Texas, El Paso area, Juarez, Mexico. Abraham Montijo here from Tucson, Arizona. WPH Race for 8, season number 10. This is tour stop number 3. My name is Dave Vincent with the World Players of Handball. Here on a Saturday, this is the Icebreaker. It was sort of a tongue-in-cheek thing for a while during the summer to call this thing an icebreaker, but then today, we literally had to break ice off the windshields just to get the cars to get to the courts. First match today, 39 degrees here on the courts. Dave Fink was the number 1 seed coming into this event. Shorty Ruiz, number 2. We had a couple backouts. Some players like Killian Carroll just coming off the national championship 4-wall win did not make this tournament. Luis Cordova is the number 3 seed. Daniel Cordova, his brother, came down with an illness and couldn't make it here. So there was a restructuring of this bracket at the very last second on multiple accounts as Luis Cordova gets that number 1 seed. Nice run down there from former national 3-wall finalist Abraham Montijo, showing off his wheels.
1-0.
Our referee is Sam Esser.
Point.
We already know that Dave Fink is going to be in the semifinals, as he defeated Adam Bernhardt earlier. I have to say that Luis Cordova looked the most impressive in his round of 16.
0-2. Short ball.
Abraham Montijo trying to sneak one past
Second serve.
the short line there with a power serve that just barely misses.
Point.
He gets a point here as he has Cordova going back and forth, side to side, up and back. Montijo doing a pretty good job of keeping Cordova back, but that ball skips in with an overhand spike. Doesn't quite make the front wall first. Cordova has incredible power with his right hand.
Side out. 1-2. Point.
All together at 2. Game number 1 going to 21.
2-2. Side up. 2-2.
Abraham Montijo had quite a wall to get through as he does a nice little flip up there with the right hand. Watch this shot. First of all, it was great just getting to this ball, and then he flips it.
2-2.
Has one of those San Antonio stiletto shots with an underhand paddle as that ball is in
Point.
on the replay. but Montijo had a very tough run at it in the round of 16 against Bill Mehilos. Montijo won the second game, but lost the first one, 12-21. Mehilos came back and scored some points quick in game number 2, but Montijo ended up winning that one. And then it went to a tiebreaker where Montijo ended up winning, but the aging Mehilos putting on a pretty good show here in Tucson, Arizona.
2 serves 3.
Looking good physically too. Lost some weight. Looks like he's in really good shape. It's unfortunate for him he didn't make it past that round of 16, but he's in the playoffs. Montijo seems to beat the players that he's supposed to beat, and then he's competitive with those that he's supposed to lose to, and sometimes will take those guys down as well.
Point.
One. Let's go.
5 serves 3. Point.
That was a good response there from Cordova.
Nice.
Just pokes that ball right past Abraham.
6 serves 3.
Sometimes those are the ones that will take the most out of you.
Point.
Cordova's really telegraphing his hop serve there, but Abe's not picking it up. Now, sometimes when you're pretty far back like we are here with the camera, we could see it, and the closer you get, it's harder to identify that. You see Montijo really warming up his shoulder here. Not sure if there's an injury or
7
he's
serves
just
3.
frustrated with himself. But you see that Luis Cordova has found the serve where he's on the baseline, and that's just really confused Abraham here. See how far back Luis goes here on the serve. If he goes for that line or tries to just squeak it over the
8
short
serves
line.
3.
It's pretty far back,
Point.
and it's very hard for you when a ball's that deep, especially if it has a wrinkle on it. It's pretty hard to get that ball back and make the adjustments. This is the Holiday Icebreaker, Tucson, Arizona.
Time in. 9 serving 3. Point.
Luis is so deadly from that spot on the court.
10
It's
serving
like muscle
3.
memory for him. The ball's a reverse. That ball flips away from Abraham.
Side out.
Some very quick scoring here
Three
for Luis
serving
Cordova. 10-3, Abraham serving now, which has been somewhat rare. He hasn't been in the service box much. Dominated
Forceful.
the time of play here in that service box is Luis Cordova. And you see that spin out from Abraham, you're probably wondering what that means. It just means that the ball's eating him up, and his way of getting out of it
11 serving 3.
is to spin out of it. There's another one where he was going to spin, didn't quite do it. And that's because the ball's hopping into his body. He hasn't made the adjustments here. That reverse that Luis had that was deep is the reason why you're not seeing, there's a reverse there. The reason why you're not seeing Abraham make those adjustments, because if you do adjust to the left, that reverse is going to make you look really bad. You won't even get a hand on it.
12. Point. Four serving 12. Point.
Now at 5-12, a couple quick points now for Montijo.
Five serving 12. 12:35.
Montijo should put that away. He doesn't do it.
I'm right back to him. Come on.
Surprised the referee didn't call a redo on that serve that went over the top of Luis's back, but I guess Abraham saw it all the way. You see Luis really going with that deep down the middle serve. It's very hard to get that serve back if you have a wrinkle. There it is again. Look at that ball go away from Abraham. Abe's just not picking it up too well. Cordova definitely has a game plan here today.
15
Going to 21 is 15-5. The ball fades away, hits the corner. The deep side wall for Abraham, who's kept it in play and just isn't able to execute some of these deep shots.
16:35.
That ball fade away from Abraham. And it does make a difference because instead of slicing that ball down a wall or getting Luis out of the server's box by floating it over his head, just more reactionary and just trying to get it to the front wall. And it's not the biggest hop serve that you've ever seen. I mean, that award probably goes to Luis's brother, but it is really big out here because you don't have a back wall to save you. And just another quick point here for Cordova, who's now at 19, 2 points away from taking game number 1. I mean, we're only 12 minutes into this, and there's been 24 points scored. 2 points every minute. 20-5. This is game point for Luis Cordova. These two have been rivals here in the great Southwest. This is the final point. Luis Cordova gets game number 1, defeats Abraham Montijo 21-5. This is the WPH Race for 8 stop number 3 of season number 10, Holiday Icebreaker quarterfinal match. The winner faces Shorty Ruiz or Max Lane Mac in the semifinals. As you can see, Cordova gets that game number 1 win, 21-5. At Clark Park in Tucson, Arizona, where game 2 is now underway. Abraham Montijo gets that first serve. We're going to 21. Referee Sam Esser. Abe not completely happy with himself. He did get that point, but he wasn't trying to do exactly that. I know that sounds probably weird. If you don't play the sport of handball and you're watching, you're like, well, it's a point, right? Well, this game's been tough. Your whole life, it's really you versus you. You trying to perfect your shots. And when you get a cheap point, in your opinion, it's like, well, that doesn't help me. I mean, I got a point here. Maybe it's going to get me a step closer to the final, but the reality is it's not making me a better player when you don't execute.
I can't over there. They're reaching shit.
0-2.
At least just lost that in the sun. He had a nice little reverse serve there, but
2-0.
shadows are starting to get long on this board.
Heads up.
See our referee, newlywed Sam Esser. His wife, Michaela Mitchell, in the stands watching. That's a great serve right there from Abraham. Deep, down the line, doesn't touch the side wall. Player has to respect the fact that it's going to clip that side wall, so you don't really run off the court to go get it. You kind of play in between, and then it's too late. Abraham goes for that corner kill. That ball comes into the court, and I believe he's not going to get the point here.
Over ball, 4-0.
Called over. It's unfortunate. I sometimes think the referee can change that call and just say it did not affect the play because the player striking the ball didn't know it was going to happen. The player returning the ball knew it was going to happen, but was never going to get that ball back, even if he ran as fast as he could. Now, there's a lot of holes in that argument. I'm going to admit it. But we've all been in that situation where a ball's been taken away and the server penalized for something that happened that's out of his control, also his opponent's control,
6-0.
and that the ball coming to the court didn't really even affect anything. It's going to be tough. No, ball rides a little bit along the top of that shelf. The side wall comes out. And now you see Luis asking if it's okay.
I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. That's a good ball.
Like if it bounces on top of C?
Yeah.
Asking if that is okay. And yeah, the rules here, the home court rules are that the ball can ride down that wall.
Second serve.
Even if it bounces multiple times on that shelf. Because it hasn't hit the ground yet. Now, it seems so un-handball to hear that, but if the ball hits the front wall, travels up, hits that side wall on the ledge, and rolls down, it hasn't hit the ground yet. And the home court rules allow that.
1 serve 7. Deep ball. Second serve. Right up. 7 serves 1.
Nice shot there from Abraham Montijo. Look how beautiful that looks.
8 serves 1.
Score is 8-1. Montijo up here. He only scored 8 points in game number 1.
One serves 8.
Luis Cordova's going to have a nice run starting right now if he's going to get back into this. And that's a good quick first point for him after a while, after a dry spell. 2-8.
Side out. Eight serves 2. Side out. 2 serves 8. Point. Three serves 8.
Here's your work.
Such a perfect shot.
4 serves 8.
Out here we consider that an offensive shot. Very similar to a kill shot. You go to that roof and you're able to hit a ball over your opponent's head. It's a kill shot out here. Maybe not on a national scale, but that's how the locals consider it. I don't blame them. And it's followed up with a nice little right corner kill from Luis Cordova, and this time the ball just slides right down the wall, and now some quick points for Lucho, wearing the red shirt.
Six, 8, yeah. All right, time in. We got 6 serves 8. Point. 7 serves 8.
Move it.
Hold it. Over ball, 7 serves 8.
Men's quarterfinals winner will face either Max Lane-Mac or Shorty Ruiz in the semifinals.
Oh, hey.
These longer rallies have actually benefited Luis Cordova.
8 serves 8.
First. Little contact, no call from the referee.
Come on, hey.
Point.
Let's go.
9 serves 8.
So much power from Cordova. You see a lot of players go with that upper cut swing like that. Abe was in a good position. He waited a little too long to get out of the box, but that ball just flew out of his course. Nice deep serve. It was a little too deep though. Second serve. Luis Cordova at 10.
Second serve.
Montijo at 8. There's another ball that should be called over.
Straight ball.
We had one in the first game that wasn't called from the ref.
One
That
screen,
one
one
is a
serve.
screen. Montijo had a nice lead here, but 6-1, 8-1. Since then hasn't scored.
Point.
I think the official scorekeeper told me it was 8-2. Okay. 9 straight points now for Luis Cordova. He already won game number 1. That ball was probably going to be deep. Not a bad idea to take it out of the air though for Abraham. I like that shot. Just slides down the wall. And another point now for Cordova.
Twelve serves 8.
Yes.
Ball.
There's been 50 points scored between the two players in 23 minutes of play.
Second serve.
And that includes a 5-minute timeout in between the first game.
Point.
There's another point here. And a
Second
timeout
timeout.
called from Abraham Montijo. Watch what this ball does here. Just dips down. Cordova is so automatic with that right hand about that short line, the dotted line, so to speak. There he is, 6 feet tall. He's got incredible power. Juarez, Mexico, El Paso, Texas is his home. His highest ranking was number 2. It felt like number 1 there for a while, but it was just I think a misprint on the rankings had him at number 1 for about 4 hours a few years ago. His best shot is that right hand, right corner kill. We just saw it. Anticipation, poise, court coverage, consistency. He's also just really good at wearing you down. Kind of the way that Muhammad Ali used to do, right? I mean, just continually punching at you to keep you on the court, always running. Luis has a way of pushing you forward, side to side, and then back again, and he just wears you down. And as much as you think it's going to wear him down, it just doesn't. And then he couples that with all that incredible strength. That's why he's so hard to play.
Come on.
15-8 score here.
15 serves 8.
That ball just did not come back. Lisa's got so much power. Even when you know that's coming, it's impossible to get that ball back. And it's literally impossible to run forward to cut it off. That's what makes it even more hard. Now it's 17-8 and 4 points away now as Luis Cordova to forging away to the semifinal.
17 serves 8.
Tucson, Arizona. It's a great shot right there. Yeah, his right corner kill is a good one, but that one to the left isn't bad either.
One ball was straight away.
18
This
serves
is
8.
now going back to that familiar serve of his, which is deep. You don't necessarily even need to have a wrinkle at the end of that, but it does certainly help. That deep serve is just hard. Hard to get back. And you can see Abraham trying to respect the hops, the wrinkle that Luis is putting on these serves.
Match point.
There it is, match point. Abraham jumping over that ball. And there it is, right? Luis takes him down in game number 2, 21-8. Very impressive play here from Luis Cordova, who defeats Abraham Montijo. And you can see the score line, 21-5, 21-8. WPH Holiday Icebreaker quarterfinal match. And now Luis will face the winner of Shorty Ruiz and Max Lane-Mac, or Max Lane-Mac, I should say, here in the semifinals. Those two players need to play their quarterfinal match coming up next. Stick around.